It's beer o'clock on Reload Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Banks Brewery and it's a can of their Barley Gold. It's a strong ale coming in at 7.4% ABV and it won some brewing industry awards back in 2004 and 2005. Gold medal winner at those awards. An award-winning beer they got on the can. Let's get it out into a glass and see what we get. A little bit of smoke on the can opening. And I'm going to ask a question. First of all, I want to see if it is indeed, it's more than likely going to be a barley wine, yeah? And it's going to be a craft barley wine. At that. If it is a barley wine, and if it is, to my knowledge, barley wines these days are craft beers, yeah? They're coming back in popularity. Then, my question is, was this the first craft can ever? The first craft 330 can. I've seen this around since the year dot, since I can remember. So yeah, I think this may have beaten out Beavertown, it may have beaten out Magic Rock and all of the others to the 330 craft can. Comment. I'm interested to hear the comments in the comments box about this very subject because I think it's an interesting one. Can any of you guys remember a craft-ish beer that was in a 330 can before Banks's Barley Gold? Questions, comments even, comment. Amber in colour, good levels of carbonation, very clear to look at, a one finger white head. At this stage of the beer review, I'd like to thank our channel sponsors, beersofeurope.co.uk, the largest online beer store in the UK with a fabulous range of beer from all over the world. Check out beersofeurope.co.uk in the link in the description box. On we go with the review. Aroma. Oh, it smells really interesting. It smells really interesting. It smells really weird. It smells really weird. Let's check the date on this. No, don't go off until the 30th of the 11th, 2019. It was only... What? It was canned. That don't make sense when it was canned. 2019 it goes off. It's December 2018, so it's got about 11 months before the sell by date. It smells a little bit like strong wort, like an alcoholic wort. Quite malty and bready and nutty. It's calmed down now. There was an initial weird aroma that was coming from it. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. First taste was a small, tentative one. Tastes alright, actually. Let's dive in properly. Yeah, definitely a barley wine, without a shadow of a doubt. This is a barley wine, a drinkable barley wine. It's not a kind of a sticker. You can taste the malt, the sweet malt. It's biscuity and bready and nutty. It's got a spicy hop character on the back end. It's not a bad barley wine, to be honest. Not bad at all. It's very rare these days that I get hold of a Banks beer. There's some nice hop characters on the back end as well. It's kind of like slightly plummy and figgy and pruny. I'm going to make the assumption here. I'm going to make the jump. I'm going to make my decision and make my jump and say that I think this quite possibly was the first craft beer ever to be canned in a 330 can. That's my guess. Brewed to a recipe over 100 years old, using top quality English malted barley and the finest hops from Worcestershire, Herefordhire and Kent. 7.4% ABV. When I was a youngster, I used to drink quite a bit of Banks Bitter. That was the stuff. Where I live in Barry, they rebranded them all now. They're all gone over to Marston's pubs. But when I was a youngster, even up until maybe 10 years ago, so we're talking 2009, the Marston's pub in Barry where I live was actually a Banks pub. So Marston's owned Banks. It was a Banks pub and it was called the Old College Inn. And we used to get, always on the bar was Banks's Bitter. My father was never a fan of it. He always found it too bitter. But I could manage it. But I would always go for the pedigree. I would always drink the pedigree. Back then was a terrific pint. In my early 20s, 20 years ago, it was a terrific pint, pedigree. But I never seen this. I never seen this in the pub when it was a Banks pub. So it's nice really to kind of hark back, because I think what will probably happen over the years is that maybe they scale back production of Banks and it just becomes part of their portfolio that they kind of roll out at certain occasions, maybe Christmas or so and so. I can't see the brand, the Banks brand, lasting for the next 10 years. It seems to be very much in decline. I've not seen a Banks Bitter since they rebranded the pub to a Marston's pub. So it's a bit of a shame. But anyway, back to the beer. Let's rate it. It looks okay. Looks good. Beer's kept its head. Nicely carbonated. A drinkable barley wine at 7.4% ABV. Nice plummy, figgy hop characters on the back end. And it's nice and biscuity and malty up front. I like that enough to give it an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Please subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! And cheers.